And then I have received the question a couple times this morning of what is the homework for tomorrow. I don't know if we talked about this as a class or if I just talked to the afternoon class about it, but I'm having this debate of, is it worth taking any masteries now, or should we just keep going with our learning and get in as much learning as possible before the test? Did we talk about this at all yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm thinking that tomorrow we'll probably just move into some chapter 8.
Sorry for this interruption. Could I please have Kira Sturgill to the office? Kira?
So we'll probably just move into some chapter 8 work. I'm going to pick and choose some random lessons for us to go through to make sure that we've had some exposure with different stuff. Some surface area and volume. Just a couple things I want to make sure you're more comfortable with before we get to the test. So we may not take another mastery until after the state test. Now that's we will probably take a small mini mastery like quiz, maybe like 2 or 3 questions tomorrow, just as a checkpoint to make sure that we're okay with what we learned this week. That we're really good with our solving proportions. We probably won't take another big, full-on, like 1 or 2 day long mastery until after we get past the test. Cool? Dude, I'm jealous of your pepperoni.
What? What do you mean, ew? Pepperoni's delicious.
Aiden, I support your snack choice. When we go camping, we'll be making pie irons, which are like little square pie things. Pizza pie irons.
We're going camping?
When we, my group of friends. Actually, we might go camping.
No.
Yay! So, we are going to help JR. Now, JR is normally an abbreviation for something. JR. Or Jalen Rocks, I guess could be JR. So, they went from figure A. Oh yeah, my smartboard's mad at me. I can't get that to work. They went from figure A to figure B, but they forgot to figure out this side right here. So I want to see if you and your teammate can set up a proportion that will be able to figure out that side of X. If you're able to, move on into 107 and look at what they're doing there and why maybe they did that. / if you can't figure out a way to do this, move into 107. I'm going to give you probably 4 or 5 minutes to just start processing through these so that I can come around the room and take questions from anyone that might have questions from the homework or about what we're doing right now and what we're setting up. Okay? So build a proportion to solve this, or if you can't get stuff figured out, move on down into 107. And then stop me if you have any questions.
side.
Well,
You can have a snack and you work at the same time. Yeah. No, you have plenty of time to build your proportion. All you're doing is sit there eating. First thing we need to do is build a proportion. Guys, I have some of you taking advantage of me giving you time to work, and you are sitting there doing nothing. That is frustrating. Come on. We need to build a proportion to relate these, two shapes. We have a bigger one and a smaller one, shape A and shape B. So, Joe, you said you have a problem. What's your problem?
Yeah, I'm not getting the same answer with B as I'm getting with A.
What do you mean?
It's not the same.
What? Oh, yeah.
Now, wait.
I'm not getting X's the same for I want to solve it in A and B.
So, B sets up 3 over 4 compared to X over 6. Are you saying that you think that's a problem?
No, I got it. No, I don't think that I got it correct.
You don't think you got it correct is what you're saying?
How'd you get that?
So, A asked us, and guys, at this point, and this is going to sound maybe weird from a teacher, but at this point, you're making your choices, right? You're growing up, you're becoming independent. You're either engaged with this or you're not, and I can't fix that. I can't force education on you, right? So we have 8 days till you show what you know on the state test. You're either engaged with us or you're not, and I can't fix it. Okay, so yeah, 8 school days. So, and I don't really care that much about those tests, and you shouldn't really care that much either. I mean, do your best, but it's not something to be stressed about. But all I'm saying is, like, if you're disengaged, okay, fine. That's on you, right? Like, so when you get to an assessment and you're trying to show what you know, or a real life situation that you're trying to solve, and you can't, that's on you. You're deciding whether to engage or not. And those of you who just sat there during that 4 or 5 minutes I just gave you, that's a waste.
Also, it reflects what you do. Like, it also reflects you, like, especially in the state test, where if you haven't been paying attention, like, you get a really low score. Like, it kind of reflects. Well, yeah, you do.
Yeah, you get your scores.
Oh my goodness, that's not what I was going to
What?
say.
Okay, go ahead. What?
No, I stopped myself.
So you will, so to clarify, you will get mailed your reports. They will get to you probably sometime early June, I think, for all the state tests and stuff. So you know how you did. It's not a huge thing. I just want to get in some more learning before we get there so we're more comfortable. But if you don't engage in the learning, you're kind of just wasting the time.
So I thought, wait, so it reduced, okay, I don't know if I probably didn't do this right. But, oh, yeah, no, I didn't do it right, so never mind.
So if we analyze this proportion, right, we were kind of comparing A to B, and we can build a lot of ratios. If they put 3 over 4, they have put B over A, right? Because 3 belongs to B, 4 belongs to A. So I, off to the side, make a note for myself. This has no purpose except to help me make sure I do it right. It's that little extra thing that you can do to make sure you get things right. So then I check, do I have B over A? Is this apart from B and this apart from A? Are they corresponding pieces? Yeah, they're both the left side. So now I can solve this proportion in any way we want, and I know it's a correctly built proportion. There are other proportions we could use too, comparing B to A, such as 9 over 12, but that's the same fraction, right? 9/12 is the same as 3/4, just different numbers. Jalen, what way do you want to solve this? Do you want to find a scale factor? You're doing cross multiply. Cross multiply, love it. Cross multiplication always works, as we talked about yesterday. So my 3 is going to multiply by my 6 and give me what? 18. Make sure you listen to the question before you try to answer, because I think you probably gave me what x is. 4 times x, 4x. I will quit writing in highlighter. What do I do now? Yep. Divide by 4. Ooh, 4.5. Skylar, I'm
That's
concerned.
what I got. I don't know why I said 2.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
I have it on my paper.
Did everyone get 4.5, even if you took a different route to get here? Now, a couple people took the scale factor route. I heard you talking at least, even if I didn't see it written down. We can determine the scale factor to go from 4 to 6, and that involves another 0.5. This is, anyone find?
75.
Ooh.
24.
I think it's 1.5, isn't it? I
One,
think.
two, six.
Oh, wait, never mind. To get from A to B, it's 20.75.
So if we go this way, is what you're saying. Okay. Any questions from this? Hey, look, people are taking a tour. Let's all awkwardly turn and see that there's people taking a tour. All right, so moving on to 107. It's asking about multiple strategies. Now, I'm afraid to even say it out loud because some of you immediately like, oh. But remember, the giant one is a great strategy that is just, look, we can stop saying giant one and just say scale factor. All we're looking for, and I'm not even going to say we need to do this, but if we're trying to go from one side of the proportion, I can't write on that part of the screen, from one side of the proportion to the other, all you're looking for is a scale factor. That's all the giant one is. So remember, that will also always work, but this is really interesting. Why? So that's not giant one.
Oh, that's the reciprocal.
What is it? Hold on. Let's let Ava talk. It's the what?
The reciprocal.
Yeah. No, she's right. It's the reciprocal, but it's the refliprical. Right? Another way to look at x over 6. All right, come back with me. What's another way to look at x divided by 6, but with multiplication instead? X divided by 6. I can't even write on the screen. Talk to your partner. Take 90 seconds. Talk to your partner. See if you can figure out another way to write that.
That's a lot of seconds.
It is a lot of seconds.
That's the reciprocal. Also, but when you hear reciprocal, it always hear reciprocal.
Well, we know the answer. We know what x is, but why did you do that? We know what x is, but why did we do that? Yeah, but, oh, did you meant to make one? Ah, okay. What? You know what that's How do you do that? How do you do No, I just didn't have Can I? Sure. Can I call someone random first? Or do you want to go first? Alright, bring it back up. There's your 90. Why, Jalen, did he do this? Why did we do this?
Because x is unknown, and then that just leaves 6 by a whole, like by itself. So we make a fraction.
Yeah. Now, another way we can think about this, instead of the fraction x over 6, is x divided by 6. Right? And the inverse operation multiplied by 6 will also work. Now, what Ava was saying about reciprocal, or we can call it refliprical, calm yourself down. It will help you remember what we're doing. Hold up. Eyes. I need your eyes. Another way we can write this is 1/6 of x. I need to make sure that you understand this. The division by 6, this is 1x. And I don't have to keep the x in the numerator. It can go out here and we can say, we just have this fraction. Now, this is really convenient if you have like 5x over 6. You could rewrite this as 5/6 x. And then, like we're saying, we use the reciprocal. And we can multiply by 6 on both sides. That will get us the same 18 over 4. Are there any questions why we could take this route? What's your question?
X over 6 is the reciprocal of 6 over 1.
This is the reciprocal of this fraction. The x isn't really involved in the reciprocal. Hey, Joey just asked a really good question. The 6 over 1 is the reciprocal of 1 over 6 because we're trying to get x alone. We aren't really we're not really doing anything with that. We're putting the fractions together. Because so I rewrote it differently. This is our original proportion from the shape. Okay?
Yeah.
Aiden, you have a question.
Okay, so wait, so if could you also do 1.6 times x? Or?
No. So 1/6 is not 1.6. So if you converted 1/6 into a fraction, into a decimal, it's 0.1666 forever, and that's gross. You don't want to use that.
Also,
You can, sorry, I'll come back. With the what?
With the original equation, couldn't the two sixes on the right side cancel each other out?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's another reason why he did that, is he could just do, that cancels and becomes 1 or reduces is really what we say. And then we just do the math and yeah. Yeah, last question, then we're moving on.
18 divided by 4 is 4.5.
Yeah, and it's the same answer that we already found, right? Because we're doing the same problem, just in another way. No, we were supposed to find the same answer. It was the same problem.
or 4 and 2 4.
Yes. All right. Use whatever technique you want. Now be careful. When someone puts a proportion in front of you, you want to double check that they did their work right. Now, do we have the shape this proportion relates to? No. We don't have this shape. This just asks us to solve it. For B, I wanted you guys to realize these are different. For B, you're solving for X. In A, you're solving for P. B, can we chill with the negative attitude? In B, we got to build the proportion. We got to build this first. Go for it. I will give you probably 4 minutes again. If you get on with A and B, move on to C.
Can we just chill with the next one?
Can I make P X because P?
You make
You're so immature.
I know.
Can I use a cap? Oh, I have it. Not okay.
Okay, we got this, Greta.
Woo! Yeah.
Oh,
We found it. Wait, I think I know what I did. Mr. Hudson.
What's up?
Never mind. Did I do it right?
What do you mean, never mind?
Did I do it right? Yes.
So what'd you do? Talk me through it.
I was first. I took this morning and then 2 like 218.
No!
And then
What?
cross multiplied the 5p.
That's like Cartoon Network.
It's just 7.
No.
And I divided by 5. And
Like the tooth fairy.
Now, the harder part is in B, we have to build the right proportions. The cross multiplication and solving, you got that. Building the proportions is the hard part.
Okay, so.
Why you think that's wrong? Yeah, you gotta solve this one first. You haven't even solved for A. I want to see you're a good student right now. I just don't know what that means. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate the compliment, but I'd rather you sit here and do your work instead of making up a compliment and making a paper. You know, I know I'm a good teacher when my students can solve their work. Guys, we're at the time of year where I am just straight up honest.
No, you're not honest. You're real.
Skylar Sunball.
He just broke it down. You were talking about the chicken.
I sat at my desk for at least a minute. Scale factor. Okay. I like it. What? No work? You're not even going to put your proportion on there first? Guys, start by writing your proportion. Always write the original. Guys, if there's one thing you always want to do is write the original problem you have. I hope you were doing your work instead of watching my screen. But guys, notice the first thing I did was get the original, and then I'm going to pull out the important information here. Start with the original. Now, Ethan, can you talk me through how you did this? You didn't write the original, but you did it correctly.
Yeah, I cross-multiplied.
So you cross-multiplied and got what?
5b equals 157.5 divided by 5.
So then, Ethan, what do we do?
Divided by 5.
You're okay.
Can I see what it equals?
Sure.
It equals 31.5.
Do you agree with that, Ethan?
Yes.
Any questions here? Now, question?
Who knows you wrong? I divided 25.
You need to multiply these. Cross multiplication. Any other questions? Okay, Aiden took a different way for B. So I want to go to Aiden because we can cross multiply. Sorry. I'm thinking about you because you keep, yeah, you're right here. All right, sorry, I know who you guys are. Let's clarify one thing. If I say the wrong name, that's just because my brain is broken. I know who you are. So, now, if, I feel like I'm having to put in a lot of effort today. If you want to use a proportion, you could build a few different proportions. One would be this side compared to the other, and that would be a really nice proportion because we realize this is twice of that. And then we could build x over 12, and we could figure out really easily that this is 24. Or, hold on, or any other proportion you build will still come out to give you x equals 24 if you built it right. Now, Adrian took a different way. What'd you do, Adrian? Why? What were you looking for? Yeah, he didn't know the multiplication forward, so he did the division backwards. He found the scale factor to be 8/10 and did what with that? And you got 24. Same answer. Questions? Okay, hold on. Do you have a question or are you just stretching?
Oh no, I just said okay, so I did the cross multiplication.
Yeah.
I just divided by 15 and then I got x.
So you compared,
30 over x and then 15 over
yeah. So you went left side over left side, and then right side over right side. You just have to make sure you have big shape over small shape, big shape over small shape.
Yeah.
So you're totally fine. Yep. As long as you got 24. Sky.
No!
You look like the Tin Man for a minute. Slowly moving.
I'm just like all over the place.
Alright, now here we have to pull out the important information. Do we need more time on this or are we done?
We're done.
We're not done.
Okay, take,
Don't blame it on me.
if you need, hey, take 60 more seconds on this one, or if you're done with this one, move on and read 109. I'll scroll my TV screen and show more of 109.
You gotta do C.
Wait, what if you haven't done C?
That's what C's on the board. If you haven't done C, do it. That's yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's priority 1.
Excuse me, could I please have Lawrence Fedorko to the office? Lawrence?
Wait, no, what?
Mr. S. Hudson.
I was about to say, I'm not that cool. Yeah.
Yes, you are, Mr.
You have an idea.
And I read the idea.
I'm afraid, not for you, for me, because it tells us what we have to do. We have to use a proportional equation here, which needs to have a fraction over, or fraction compared to a fraction, right? Fraction equal to a fraction. Is that what you did, Jalen? Awesome. What fraction to a fraction did you write out? So you wrote 3 ounces over 19 minutes in a demonic voice, and then...
That was not demonic, that was, I don't know. Yeah,
Not Jalen's just scary in general.
Then what?
You could either, wait, actually, yeah, 16 over X.
Actually,
Alright, now everyone check your paper. First off, some of you I worry didn't do anything. And in case you haven't heard me over here as I kind of throw some burns or whatever, we're at the point in the year where I'm just 100% honest with you guys. I think Mrs. Pettigrew probably is too. We're at the 100% honest point of the year, right?
Oh yeah, there's no messing around.
So you need to make sure that when you build a proportion, it agrees. Hey, let's all awkwardly look at Sky going to talk to Mrs. Pettigrew. You're fine. So, okay, this is how Phoenix works. If a teacher needs a kid, we grab them. Yeah, you need to make sure, guys, the biggest mistake, and this is where I'm like really trying to enforce this, because if we don't take a mastery on this, like big mastery with revisions and everything, I just want to make sure that we've talked about it really clearly. We set up ounces over minutes. Hey, Sophia, you're kind of like, why do we have scissors? Can you put those on the shelf beside you, please? Can you put a pencil in your hand, please? Can you respect me as your teacher, please? Thank you. If we build a proportion with ounces over minutes, you have to have the other side agree. So before you even know what to fill in, you should fill in your labels to make sure you don't put the wrong number in the wrong place. What other value do I have?
The 16 minutes.
16 ounces. Where your label is tells you where to put your 16. Your proportion should be built. If you have 3 over 19, we should then have 16 over, we don't know. Now this doesn't work nice. If it was 15, it would work nice. So, since we've been practicing cross multiplication, we might as well do that.
3x equals 304.
3x equals 304.
Yeah. On 109, 8 equals 6. And then x equals
Thanks
1
for
of
spoiling
1.
it.
Isaac, do you realize that that was inappropriate? Like, are you just trying to get a reaction?
No.
We're nowhere close to solving through that problem, and you're just going to shout out the answer to the next work that we're doing? Like, what makes you think that's cool to do? You're the guy in the movie saying, he dies first. It's not cool. Like, don't do that. People mark things as spoilers, and you're just like, excuse me. No, stop. Being a jerk.
Wait, it would be 1.3.
Yeah, 1/3 is 0.3. 1/3's better. But if you write, okay, Ava and I are arguing. Go figure. If I write 0.3, what do I have to do with it? Ava, I'm trying to have fun. We argue, we disagree. It's okay. If I write 0.3, what do I also have to put? Repeating.
Oh yeah.
That's the danger. So Ava, you can use 0.3, but this is wrong.
But I put a repeating symbol.
Okay, that's why I was going to ask you what else to put. Are we good here?
Maybe.
What?
Math.
Yeah, everything, right?
I mean, we could like count syllables or things like that. You have 5 minutes to solve through these four proportions.
It's fine.
Now, if you're using a calculator, these should be easy. Hey, real quick, give me your eyes back. Everything should have a label. Okay, as you build these proportions, your values should have labels. Okay, that'll make this whole thing super easy. Okay, take 5 minutes, solve through these. Now, really, kind of right now, why I didn't tell you definitively what we're doing tomorrow, I'm still deciding. If I think I need to test you guys so you actually care about this stuff, we will. Otherwise, I would like to keep teaching. So, solve these 4 situations.
Yeah, don't die like I did.
Solve these 4 situations.
How did you die?
Talk about math. Aside from that, no animal noises.
I died. I threw 3 of a kind. I rolled a 5, a 1, and a 3. Why did he try that? Those seem like pretty much the same thing. You didn't try to kill me. Whoopsie doodles. Wait, Mr. Hudson.
Yeah,
Can you go hug me?
sure.
Can you hug me?
Help me.
Oh, and then she went, can you hug me?
Where's your labels?
Hi, Mr. Oh, yeah. Mr. Sasha. Sasha!
I don't know if that's a proportion.
Sasha. What?
So wait, the proportion relationship here. I gotta explain real quick.
It is not debated.
And then I got too drunk and I gambled my son's inheritance away.
Hey guys, we need to bring it back. So, Skylar, your card is up.
No.
How do I solve A?
Okay, so hang on.
So
1
when
minute
you
and then I'll be
re-entered
here.
the room,
Oh, and
so
then
Skylar, when you re-entered the room, did you recenter yourself and solve
yeah,
the problem?
no.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on.
No, wait, no.
No, I'm gonna move on. But coincidentally, your card came up as you were telling some nonsense story that has nothing to do with math. I would love to be able to laugh, but at this point, it's not really funny because we have people in here that probably couldn't master a mastery tomorrow.
Okay, I have it though.
You sure?
I think, yeah.
Okay, walk me through.
Okay, so I did 130 miles over 2 hours, and then I did 390 miles over X, and then I knew that, and then I did 390 divided by 130.
Hold on, slow down. You're right, you're just moving too fast. The labels we have is miles and hours. It doesn't matter how you build your proportion as long as it agrees. So I'm going to build mine slightly differently than you just to be different. I could do 2 hours over 130 miles. The only difference that makes is this then has to be hours over miles. But after we cross multiply, it all ends up the same. So then
That's 390.
this is 390 and this is our unknown.
And then I was like, 130, how do I get that to 390? And that's by 3, so then 2 hours.
Oh, you didn't even cross multiply.
No, I don't like cross.
You scale factored. Anyone else recognize that this is just times 3?
Yeah.
We don't have to cross multiply here. We could get 130x equals like 780, and then we could divide, or we just multiply by 3 and x is 6. Yeah, 2 times 3. Yeah. Jalen, question?
You see, B, I didn't really get, but now that I read it over like a few times,
So, B's tricky. They throw you a distractor number. Who can tell me what I mean by that? If we're trying to look for the proportional relationship. Eva?
They're trying to trick you into using 15.
Why do I not use 15?
Oh, wait, that's so the entrance fee.
This is not proportional. You pay it once. What is proportional here, Eva? 7, 4, and 1, actually, because this is one ride. So what we can build is a proportion relating $4 for one ride. Where would my 7 go? Top or bottom? Bottom, because that's rides. And what? Can we scale factor this? Yeah, just times 7 we get 28. Now hold on.
$28.
If the problem asks you, how much would it cost you in total? We're going to bring this 15 back in. Now, I actually this is one of those CPM problems where I'm like, well, I would clarify the question they're asking. When it says, how much would it cost you to go on 7 rides? It's just $28 to go on the rides. But you still had to pay 15 to get in. So if they said, how much would it cost you in total, I'd bring the 15 back in. On the state test, don't worry, they really ask specific questions. So if you read carefully and like underline or highlight or like, you'll be fine.
So it's
See,
$43.
yeah, this is something that actually sometimes CPM leaves it a little bit open so we can have classroom conversations of, so you say 28, you say 43, how can both answers be correct? Right, so both answers could be correct. 28 for just the rides, 43 if we talk about everything we spent. Yeah, does that make sense? That there can be 2 different answers that both could be right depending on how we ask the question?
That's expensive entrance fee.
I mean, when's the last time you see the point?
I've never been to
Now, that is expensive if I have to pay for rides. That's like, come on, if I gotta pay for rides and you're charging me 15? C, can I get someone who hasn't talked, like, today to solve a problem to help me out here? Kevin, Brendan,
I haven't
Casey. Hey, you helped me with like 3 different problems. Riley, where's our proportional in C?
Well, I did it a different way.
Okay, talk me through it.
Okay, so you take 39 and you divide it in 3.
Why? What sort of problem solving are you doing here?
Like just regular math.
Yeah, but what'd you find? If you did 39 divided by 3, because then you found 13 over 1, right? Right? Didn't you find 13 when you did that division? What is it when it's per 1 of something? Unit rate. This is the unit rate solution. I love it. You're taking another one. So then what'd you do?
Then I added 13 and 39 twice.
Or we can just multiply by 5. Because if it's for 5 months, we should get 65 bottle caps. Because I like how comfortable we are in here, but some people are too comfortable that we're just carrying on conversations while the class is doing something together. You should have 65. So what we did by Riley's method is we found the unit rate first. If we have 39 bottle caps in 3 months, that's 13 every 1 month, right? Then if we do it for 5 months, we could just multiply by 5. Now another way we could do this is take your 39 over 3 months and compare it to 5 months, but then we would cross multiply. You should get 3x equal to 100. That's not big enough. That's your issue. It should be 190. 95, yeah, 195. Yeah? Yeah, because 5 times 40 is 200. There's your mistake. You want to do the last one? Brendan, do the last one. Bring us home.
So, what I did was 12 divided by 3.
Okay, so a dozen is 12. is the first thing Brendan thought about. So put that in your head. A dozen is 12. So
12 divided by 3, and I got 4.
why'd you do that?
Because it's asking if 3 volumes equals, is for 99 cents, and it's asking you how much will a dozen lines cost.
So Brendan is buying 4 sets of 3 lines. Now, this is annoying grocery store math. Approximately how much are we spending? $4. Now, if we do the exact math, it's 3,
It's 3.9.
because you save a penny on every set. Grocery store. No tax on food. If we haven't talked about this yet, you do not pay tax on necessities. Food is a necessity. You don't pay tax. All right. Yes. Well, it depends what you're asking about. I pay like tax on my mortgage because my bank's making it. That's not a necessity. So I pay taxes that are money that are paid where I live. Yeah, if you say local and just because I go somewhere else, they probably then have a lesser tax on something else. So what you're talking about is sales tax versus like income tax or So one of their other taxes is probably less. Yeah, totally works. Yep. See you later, man.
Tyler, why are you on